In the heart of the savage lands, beyond the scorched hills and the dust-bown cliffs, where even vultures feared to fly, there roamed 10 legendary lions, the barbarian kings. Each bore scars that whispered of blood and war. Their roars could crack the skies, and their claws had torn through elephants and hyenas alike. They weren't a pride, they were warriors. Exiled from their original homes, they had become a force feared across the continent. They had no kingdom, no ruler, no legacy, until the day a cry changed everything. One evening, as the sun bled into the savannah, the wind carried a faint whimper. It was not the howl of a dying beast, nor the shriek of a hunting falcon. It was something smaller. Fragile. Alone. The 10 lions were resting near the ancient fire rocks, recovering from a brutal fight with a rogue leopard gang. Kodo, the largest and eldest of the barbarian lions, lifted his head. His amber eyes flickered with curiosity. Something he hadn't felt in years. "Did you hear that?" he growled. "A cub," said Njero, the youngest, with a growl of disgust. "Leave it. It's not our fight." But Kodo was already moving. They found the cub half buried in ash and bones at the edge of the scorched plains. His fur was golden but dulled with soot, and his ribs poked out like thorn branches. A vulture circled overhead, waiting. Kodo stepped over the cub and let out a deep, thunderous roar. The vulture fled. "He's dying," murmured Goro, the scarred lion with a shredded ear. "He won't make the night." But Kodo turned to the others. "Then we give him the night. And the next. And the next after that." The others stared. These lions had torn apart kings and burned down prides, but never protected. The cub whimpered again, opening his eyes to see not a mother, not a savannah, but 10 giant lions, scarred and broken, forming a circle around him. Chapter 2, The Mark of the Plains. Days passed. The cub, whom Kodo named Ashpaw, slowly grew stronger. He drank water from Kodo's paw. Theric, the silent lion who hadn't spoken in years, hunted tiny lizards to feed him. The others watched from a distance, unsure what this new mission meant. But trouble stirred. A pride of savage dust-claw lions, led by the cruel King Mikuru, had heard rumors. A lion cub in the Firelands? Protected by 10 old barbarians? Mikuru laughed. "How sweet. Let's rip it apart." The dust claws were over 30 strong, younger, faster, and bred to kill. But the barbarian kings didn't run. The first attack came at dawn. Dustclaw scouts crept in while the cub slept. But Boru, the lean and vicious lion with jet-black mane, ambushed them first. He bit the throat of one and blinded another before letting them flee. "They know now," he spat. "They know the cub matters." Kodo grunted. "Let them come. We've fought armies for less." Ashpaw was still young, still stumbling, still curious. But he began to imitate the lions. He watched Goro sharpen his claws on stone. He tried to mimic Njero's mighty pounce. The 10 warriors became not just his protectors, they became his teachers. Chapter 3, Blood in the Wind. 3 weeks later, as the moon turned red, the dust claws came in full. 30 lions. Against 10. But these weren't ordinary 10. These were the exiled legends, whose names had once been sung in fear across the mountains. The first blow came from Zaru, the fastest lion, who tore through a dust-claw flank like a sandstorm. Theric, the silent one, waited until a group broke through the edge and then pounced from above, snapping necks like twigs. Mikuru roared from the rear, ordering his strongest warriors to kill the cub. "Bring me his head." But the cub was gone. Hidden in a bone cave, guarded by Egan and Rollo, twin brothers with dark manes and eyes like death. Outside, the battle roared. Claw against claw. Fong against Fong. The ground turned red. Njero fell with 3 lions on him but still managed to tear 2 apart before he collapsed. Goro, bleeding from the chest, used his last breath to bite down on Mikuru's spine and broke it. At sunrise, only 5 of the barbarian kings remained. But the Dustclaws were no more. Chapter 4, Ashpaw's Rise. Ashpaw wept for the fallen. He nuzzled Kodo's face, whose eyes no longer opened. But Kodo's lips curled faintly. "Live, little king," he whispered. "Live bigger than we ever did." Years passed. Ashpaw grew into a lion unlike any before him. Strong. Cunning. But not just fierce, wise. He bore the lessons of 10 legends. And when he roared from the fire rocks, lions came from every corner of the continent. Not to fight, but to follow. He became known as Ashpaw the Unburned, the lion raised by barbarians, the one who united the broken clans, ended the blood wars, and ruled not by terror, but by honor. And when asked where he learned to lead, Ashpaw would always look to the skies, then to the hills where 10 warrior spirits roamed. He would whisper, "They weren't just lions. They were my fathers."